Welcome to week 6 Boomer Bust Show. We're both back. It was a little awkward last week doing it by myself. It ended up being good. The chat helped me out. Like once we got about 5 to 10 minutes in, I kind of sat here like for the first minute or two with like 2 or 3 viewers, and it was a little awkward. But with the game early on these Sundays when they're overseas in Europe, we get a little bit less viewers, which is understandable. I'd probably rather watch football than watch us. But if you can watch both, that's ideal. Yeah, just a little bit. If you can watch both, it's ideal. So yeah, thanks to the chat for helping me out last time with that. But if I ever have an appointment on a Sunday here in like 4 or 5 weeks, you'll have to same thing. It's okay.
Well, we'll give it a go, man. You did a great job from the little bit that I watched before I jumped on my plane. I thought you did great. So well done.
And quickly, Dollar Bill gets in here. Slayton, Wicks, Watson, or Sermon. Full PPR.
I really like where Slayton sits right now with Malik out this week. He was targeted quite a bit last week. I think it's become Darius Slayton and Wandale in New York instead of Malik and Wandale in New York. And Daniel Jones just doesn't really look anywhere else. So I kind of lean that way. I also like the opportunity that Sermon has this week. Caught a lot more passes than I would have thought he would have a week ago. So I think Wicks I can't trust. Watson, I don't think he's going to go necessarily. So I'm going with Slayton here.
Yeah, I'll go Slayton as well. I don't know if we're going to see Sermon getting those catches with a mobile quarterback now back in the backfield. I like Wicks, but he's a little bit boomer bust. I just think Slayton gets the most targets here, and I'll take out of these options the guy I think gets the most targets, like we saw last week. A quarterback at least needs 2 people to throw the ball to, and that's all they got there. I can even name their third target for the
Tennessee guy, Hyatt, right? Jalen Hyatt.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hyatt, and he's really kind of just good for the deep ball. It seems like at this point. So. Yep, I'll go with Slayton. Veteran guy, did really well last week.
Real good point on Sermon with Richardson back in there. That's a great shout.
Tyrone Tracy or Javonte Williams. Is Singletary back this week?
No, he's out.
He's out again? I don't think I have him on the banner.
I double-checked your banner, and I didn't get it either. So,
and the funny thing is he was on there last week, and I deleted him because I didn't see him on the report on the one I was looking at. This is, I think, going to be Tyrone Tracy for me. That dude looked pretty good.
He did.
And he didn't even start. Like they were kind of giving it to that Gray. Is that who it was? Gray.
Yeah, Evan Gray. Yeah,
Evan Gray at the beginning of the game. And then man, they started giving it to Tracy, and that dude just looks big, fast, and strong. I could see that guy just consistently gaining value to the end of the year. This might be a guy I'm really looking to buy in a dynasty league right now. Even in redraft, you could probably get him in as a throw-in in some parts if he's not on the waiver wire. He probably isn't right now.
He probably got picked up. He probably got picked up last week when Singletary went down. I think he's going to be a tough guy to acquire in dynasty just because people are kind of hot and heavy for him right now. But I 100% agree. In redraft, you should be able to add him for next to nothing. I think I'm going to go with Tracy here as well. They're back to back in my rankings. I think the Chargers defense. I think arguably that Denver Los Angeles Chargers game today features 2 of the best defenses in football right now. Tennessee would be another one that I would consider a good one, but I don't think there's going to be a lot happening in that game. The Chargers are the slowest moving offense in terms of play calls and play execution, so that'll limit Denver's time of possession. Plus, I think Bo Nix is not going to be able to repeat the game he had a week ago. So I think Denver's in real tough this week. So I'll lean towards Tracy. I just think he's going to touch the ball more. Basically, that's the only reason.
Yeah, Javonte holds value because he is being utilized pretty well in the pass game, which is nice. I mean, he got like 10 PPR points, but they also got Jaleel McLaughlin in there that also takes work out of the pass game. He's not like a true
he's hard to he's a pain in my ass.
Yeah, Javonte, if he could score some touchdowns, he'd be a lot more valuable, but he's just not scoring touchdowns.
I don't see very many touchdowns in that game. Now that I say that, it'll probably be 48-45 or something like that. But
it's always those games that are like, oh, they should obviously be low scoring that somehow end up being
totally right. Yeah.
Tucker or Polk? Does Drake
I think
May for Polk?
I think you should tell me what you think here first.
I think that I will hold off on starting any Patriot that's not Antonio Gibson this week. I don't mind Demario Douglas, actually. I think he works the middle of the field a little bit more today, and I think that Drake May is going to look to him a decent amount. And in the limited amount of time he has gotten this season, which is like one drive, he like targeted Demario Douglas 3 or 4 times. Then again, the defense was playing back, giving him the middle of the field to let the clock run out. So I don't really look too much into that. But let me see who Drake May likes and has a connection with before I maybe start Polk. Tucker is in a situation today to get a lot of targets. I mean, you got both receivers out today, so his target share should be through the roof. It's going to be him and Brock Bowers. So I really like Tucker today as a target monster.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there as well. I do like what I saw between Polk and Drake May in the preseason, but that's also the preseason, not necessarily going up against the other team's starters either. So I think I want to wait a week or so. Hopefully Drake May can get through this one relatively clean and give Patriots fans something that they are looking forward to and not get killed, because I worry about that they're just going to ruin this kid behind that rather porous offensive line. But I think you're right. I think, even with Aiden O'Connell under center, and it doesn't matter if it's Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, they're kind of like the same thing to me. Other than like Bowers might get 25 targets today and Tucker might get 10. Like, I don't know like you talk about who the third option is. Who's the other option for the Raiders?
I feel like I know who it is, and I can't remember his name. Nope, I don't. I don't know.
I have no idea who the extra, like even 2 wide receiver sets, let alone
that is
3.
such a good question. I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that's who it is. I'm gonna look
I like to think I know who a lot of players are. I can't think of anyone. Always Dollar Bill. Thank you, man.
No problem. Crafter McBride, are we shifting to the? Yeah, this is. I'm
not yet. But if Tyler Kraft puts up a third straight monster of a game, then I might. I'm a massive Trey McBride guy, so I'm going to stick with him there. But I would not fault anyone for. I tried grabbing Kraft in a couple of my tight end premium leagues this week, and that's obviously I missed a week or so there, so that's not happening. But I like them both, but I'm a McBride, big time McBride fan, so I'm going to stick there.
I stand corrected. I have no idea who these wide receivers are for the Raiders. Like, I thought I was going to have an aha moment, and Tyreek McAllister and Alex Bachman.
Never heard of either one of them.
Yep. DJ Turner.
Yes. I've heard
Christian Wilkerson. He was on the Patriots preseason. He was a preseason darling.
Cool.
A few years ago. So yeah, that's
So it could be a good Alexander Madison game. It could even be a good Amir Abdullah game, which sounds horrifically gross.
Zamir White's playing today too. They could try and get him more involved.
And unfortunately, Michael Mayer isn't active right now, or else it could have been a good game for him as well. So, but I think
Michael Mayer's out too.
Yeah, he's been put on the NFI list. He's having some personal issues. He's been inactive for a couple of weeks, and they just put him on that list. So he's gone for 4 games. Hopefully, what's ailing him, he can fix and come back, because he was a talent that I liked. I think he ended up kind of in a tough spot when you add arguably one of the best tight ends in recent college football memory to your team. So, yeah,
he's that guy that will not be on the Raiders after his contract ends, and then go to some other team like the Chiefs, and just whoa, this guy's sweet, and that would be ideal. That's what I want for either him or Kyle Pitts. Like, one of them to end up on the Chiefs when Travis Kelce's time is done, and they become valuable, because he is a super talented dude. It's just not in a great situation for him. Quarterback play, and then obviously a generational talent at tight end at Piers in front of him.
I traded Caleb Williams before last week in a rather big trade in one of my dynasty leagues, and I think I might have made a mistake. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like CJ Stroud last year, right? Like the first 3 or 4 weeks, it was then he started to put it together, and then kind of ending the season strong. And the Bears are on track right now, 4-2.
Yeah, the key to that deal will be if JJ McCarthy is what I think he is, because I got a couple of picks in JJ and stuff.
I think your head coach is a very good quarterback guy. So
seems to be.
Yep. This answer for me, Rob, is also McBride. The problem with me starting any Green Bay Packer outside of Jaden Reed is it's just it could be anybody. It could be the Dontavius Wicks 2 touchdown week. It could be Christian Watson 2 touchdown week.
Totally.
Romeo Dobbs, if he was pissed off. What if they want to get him more involved? Like they just have all these guys that are like very talented. I don't think any of them are necessarily like just average. I think they're all pretty good freaking players. It's just they're all on the same team. And it could be any week. So I'll take McBride. I think he's going to demand more targets than Kraft is. There's less mouths to feed there. Najee Harris or Antonio Gibson. Who you got on this one? Checking the rankings.
My headphones died again, so that's it for them. It's weird. I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, sorry, I missed whatever you might have said.
Oh, Najee Harris and Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Najee here. I don't really like it a whole lot. I think this is a really good spot for Antonio Gibson to be in with Ramondre out. JaMychal Hasty, I think, backing him up, and then you guys brought somebody up off the practice squad. So there's the path to touches for Gibson is nice here. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go to Antonio Gibson. I think he might be a nice check down option for Drake May when the heat comes this week. So I like them both. I have a league where I'm starting them both. So they're both inside my top 20. But I'm going to change my original answer and go with Gibson here.
Yes, I will go with Antonio Gibson as well. I think the Patriots will be in a situation where they're going to have to pass a lot today as well. So he gives a nice check down option for Drake May. I think Antonio Gibson is just a really good athlete too. So
yeah,
he steps in, does pretty well. I do think JaMychal Hasty will have his fair share of carries today too. He could be a nice flex option in maybe a league where you dealt with some injuries.
I think Keenan Allen might have just scored a touchdown.
Well, no, I think you might be behind unless he just scored enough. Oh, yes.
Oh, I am behind. Sorry.
Yes. Nope, you're not behind. I don't wait. Well, maybe you are, but still same outcome.
Okay.
Was yours on the sideline? Was yours in the corner? Or
right at the pylon, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're about to see one in the middle of the field. Same guy.
So I think when my headset died, it wasn't. I think it's my wireless kind of went for a crap and came back. But anyway, That's good. That's good.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is looking pretty good, which I knew he would. It's just people the problem is it's like, did they forget about CJ Stroud last year? First few weeks, oh, he's going to be a bust. He's going to be a bust. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like Jaden Daniels is doing things that's never been done before. First off, so it's like when you compare him to him, yeah, it's going to look like he's a bust. But he's a rookie quarterback about to be 4-2 on the Bears. Like he's
and I don't know if they've ever had that before, and he looks like he's kind of figured out, and I think Shade Waldron sort of figured it out a little bit too. Like he just looks like he's good.
Slayton or Tucker. He also notes in there that his other wide receiver is Deontay Johnson. So yeah, Deontay Johnson is definitely staying in there. Are you putting in Slayton or Tucker? Tucker does have a tough matchup, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the biggest thing that I worry about with Tucker is that don't you just play cover 2 on him and take him away? Like
yeah. They could maybe try and unlock him more. I mean, with Adams out, they have kind of been using him more like in the mid to the short game. So
is he running out of the slot?
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of everything. He's actually looking like he might be better than what people are thinking. Like this guy is kind of stepping up when it matters. So he might find himself as a valuable fantasy asset long term. Kind of like I feel like getting like that opportunity Wan'Dale Robinson's getting and kind of just solidify that role as like a number 2 option for a team. Tucker might be that guy.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Slayton, I think.
Yeah, I am too. Both in for big targets today.
Horrific. The Bengals secondary is absolute trash. So
and their offense can score. Like Bengals are not having a problem scoring. Like they're scoring. The problem is not on the offensive side of the ball right now. The Bengals are scoring a lot. So
Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdown passes last week, and
I think 3 the week before, over 300 yards both weeks in a row. Like Joe Burrow and the wide receivers and Jamar Chase have all looked really good the past 2 weeks. Yeah, with T. Higgins back, that offense is looking like they were when they were Super Bowl contenders. People are freaking out, but I mean, football is not just one side of the ball. You got to have defense, and especially in the NFL and late in the season. So totally. Also another team, if they lose today, their coach might be.
Yeah, they're just too cheap of an organization to do that. That's the only thing that saves them, I think.
Yeah, probably. All right. Hey, guys, 2 questions. PPR, start Tolbert or Amari? That's where we're at now, huh? And the second question is start Braylon Allen or Amir Abdullah?
Well, on the first one, I'm going to stick with Amari, but I wouldn't really fight anybody if they went with Tolbert. Tolbert, I saw a stat this week. He has, since week 1, has 3 less targets than CeeDee Lamb, has 4 less catches, and has 4 more red zone targets than CD. So he's clearly involved in the offense there. Every time I say something bad about Amari Cooper, he does something good. Every time I say something good about Amari Cooper, he does something bad. So maybe we should just split hairs here, and you like him, I hate him, or whatever it is. But Deshaun Watson is arguably the worst statistical quarterback in the league right now. He can't do anything. But I still want to lean Amari here slightly. I just think that target-wise, he's probably going to get them. And I'm going to go with Braylon Allen over Amir Abdullah. I don't think Abdullah is going to do anything, really. I think he might get some passes on 3rd down and stuff like that. But Braylon Allen is slowly becoming a legitimate split-type guy with Breece Hall, which is kind of tough to stomach. But nonetheless, when Braylon Allen has the football, that kid looks good. So he's going to continue to stay on the field. Amir Abdullah, who knows? So I think it's Braden Allen rather easily for me here. How about you?
Yeah, it's Braylon Allen. Touchdown upside for him is just so high, right? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts over there for the Jets organization. Their offensive coordinator got demoted. Their head coach obviously is gone. So they could be, I mean, first thing I'd be doing if I was taking over that team or calling plays is let's get Breece Hall more involved. Having like 20 rushing yards in 2 games with him is completely pathetic. And I really think it's just like it's obvious when they're going to run the ball with him, right? Where I think when they put in Braylon Allen, they kind of disguise it a little better. And that unpredictable.
That offense needs some motion to it. It has none. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers doesn't like motion. He doesn't like play action from underneath center. So it's a very slow moving offense. It's a slow. The players on the field aren't very fast. Like Garrett Wilson can go and Breece Hall can go, but Alan Lazard and Aaron Rodgers and Tyler Conklin, like they're not fleet of foot. So it's an easy defense, or it's an easy offense for defenses to pick up on, and then it's slow in its execution. So I'm not surprised that Hackett got demoted. I'm surprised he didn't get fired. And it sounded like Saleh was trying to fire Hackett into last offseason, but I think Aaron Rodgers has a little bit more control there than we.
I think so. That's what I was going to say. He and Hackett love each other. So just take a demotion. We'll get rid of this coach.
Get your paycheck.
Which, I mean, the coach probably got to go anyway. I mean, he's had plenty of time there.
And I have no problem with Saleh getting canned. I just think that the offense.
He'll get a defensive job somewhere for sure. I mean,
their defense is arguably one of the best in the league. Right?
And they've been good his entire tenure there. This is he's never been able to get.
And go back to his San Francisco days, that Niner defense was legit. So you're right. Saleh will get the job easily on the defensive side of the ball, which is not a problem. I think I would have canned the offensive guy first, but that's a whole other story.
Yep. I'll take Amari Cooper too. I mean, I know Deshaun Watson's looked bad, but even when he does get Amari Cooper the ball in good situations, Amari Cooper's looked bad. He's had a couple of touchdowns dropped this year. That organization's definitely surprising me this year. I thought Deshaun Watson would be a lot better. He looked a lot better last year prior to injury, but sometimes these injuries play a bigger part than we realize. And
I think all of his off-field stuff is in his head and is totally.
Oh yeah, his last one got settled privately. I mean,
he deserves what he gets there, but I think as a human being, even if you're a dirtbag like he is, it's going to affect you. So.
Yep, 100% it will. 0.5 PPR, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. James Cook, Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy, Eckler, Pittman, Tolbert, and then he gives us some waiver options as well. So let's start with the running back. Cook, James Cook, Brown, Tracy, Eckler. This is kind of easy, right? We got to go James Cook here.
Well, there's a bit of a wrinkle in that is that Cook's been battling a toe injury and he is questionable. They do think he's going to play, but it's also Monday night. So you've got to be rock solid sure that he's going to go on Monday. And is he going to get a good workload? And he's playing a good Jets defense. And I think the Jets, if they have a pulse at all, are going to be fired up in that one. So I'll say this. My James Cook shares are starting right now, but I have sort of insured myself with either a Ray Davis or Keon Coleman. So I've got him in my flex spot. So that's the first thing I would do is slide him into your flex. If he's going to be in the lineup, I think he's your flex. So you have a little bit of, you can do something on the waiver wire. I like Brown this week. I think he's in a good spot. We talked about Tracy a little bit earlier. He looks pretty good.
Was Chase Brown also dealing with an injury as well?
He was, both him and Moss were, but are both clear and good to go. I think that Eckler is probably, as much as I want Eckler to step up when Brian Robinson is out, it doesn't seem like he is. He still is 8 to 10 touch guy, and he does what he does, and you have to hope he scores. So I think I'm going to go. My one running back here is probably going to be Chase Brown.
I'm going to go James Cook and Austin Eckler here. There's no Brian Robinson Jr.
I know.
Jeremy
McNichols seems to be the guy that benefits the most when Robinson is out. But I will go with Brown and put Cook in my flex.
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I don't really care. I'm going to start to, whatever. My top two are going to be James Cook and Eckler at my flex. Because even if Eckler does happen to get some goal line carries today, he's a pretty compact guy. He could fall in the end zone as well. He gets you some PPR value. Seems always get like four catches a week.
Who the hell they play again? That should be a decent scoring football game as well.
The Ravens, big game this week. Yeah,
they play Baltimore, and for some reason, Baltimore's defense, like we just saw what Burrow did to them, but they've been getting kind of beat up a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. So there could be a ton of that'd be a fun game to watch, with Daniels and Lamar. That should be a great game.
Yeah. Funny thing is the Bengals did exactly what they needed to do, which was shut down the Ravens run game, and they let Lamar throw for 350 yards on them. That tells you
what are we doing
about their secondary.
What are we doing at wide receiver here?
I think I'll go with Pittman here. I don't like the matchup. I don't like that he's kind of a last-minute start. But I don't think a guy like Pittman suits up to play as a distraction. I don't think he's going to do that. If he's going to play, he's going to be involved. So I'll take Pittman here despite the matchup and despite Tolbert's big performance the previous week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tolbert simply because Detroit and Dallas, there might be 150 passes thrown in that game. I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair. Tolbert has established himself as the number 2, and I'm just worried about Pittman takes one hit and he's on the sidelines. Plus, Anthony Richardson has not exactly shown his passing attributes yet. So I don't argue starting Pittman here, but I'm going to put Tolbert over top of him. And then we need a tight end between Ertz, Conklin, Njoku, Henry, and Gesicki.
He kind of also follows it up with who would you drop for the tight end, and he adds Christian Kirk in there out of all the options that we have already given to us.
Well, that option's gone because he's playing right now.
Christian Kirk would have been yours.
Well, even if Kirk's the answer, it's too late, right?
Right. Yeah, for me, it'd probably be Tolbert, honestly. I just don't know how much. I feel like the other guys hold more value later down the stretch for you.
I think you have to, right? Like, that's a tough guy to have to drop.
Yeah, it is. What tight end are you streaming?
It's probably Ertz. The Ravens are one of the worst teams against the tight end season to date, and they've been getting shredded like crazy by it. So Conklin apparently is banged up and is sort of close to being a game time decision. Njoku has come back from injury and got hurt again and is in a dysfunctional Browns offense. Hunter Henry has kind of started off great and turned into a ghost. It'd be between Gesicki and Ertz for me here, and I'll lean Ertz just based on matchup.
I think it's actually going to be Hunter Henry today. I think Hunter Henry comes in. Now the Patriots are going to throw the ball. These games of less than 200 passing yards, I think, are about to be behind the Patriots. And one guy that he could easily be targeting is a veteran presence in the middle of the field, and that is probably going to be Hunter Henry. Kendrick Bourne, I think, gets a little bit of a jump as well. Every Patriot pass catcher gets a boost, right? I mean, can't really go down from Jacoby Brissett's numbers. So I'll go with Hunter Henry. I kind of feel like Drake May liked him in the preseason as well. So
One option here, and it's crazy, is impossible. I don't know if you're favored to win or not yet. You could just take the L in the tight end spot and hang on to Tolbert.
Good. But I mean, yeah, because he might have Travis Kelce on bye. Let's just guess.
Right. But if you know what I mean, like,
on bye, probably.
Or if you're 5-0, 4-1, whatever, instead of giving up an asset that you probably feel you want to hang on to, it's okay to lose in week 6. No one cares at the end of the season. And if you can get by with a 0 in your tight end spot, Gabe Davis. Yeah. So I think that's an option for you. But yeah, good luck regardless.
How do you rank the placement running backs this week? Bucky Irving, Trey Sermon, Tracy, and Gibson.
I'm going to go with Bucky 1, Gibson 2, Tracy 3, Sermon 4. And that's without looking at my rankings. It's off the top of my head. I think Bucky Irving's in a great spot with White out.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go Bucky, Gibson, Tracy, Sermon. Is that what you went as well?
I think I did.
Yeah. Bucky, Gibson, Tracy, Sermon. For sure. It would probably be Tracy. You asked this question a couple weeks. It could be Tracy number 1, to be honest, but they're going to probably keep Gray involved a little bit. But,
and I think Singletary, if he comes back, that relationship that he has with Dable going back to the Buffalo days probably keeps him relevant as well.
Yep. 100%. And Singletary's looked good. Like, there's no really reason to not have him involved. He looked good last year when he was on the Texans. He's not looked that bad when he was with Buffalo. Just Buffalo really did utilize their running backs when in Dorsey. So.
Like all Devin Singletary does is lead his team in rushing yards everywhere he goes. He did the same thing in Houston. So,
looking for thoughts on my flex spots this week. Need 2 full PPR: George Pickens, Chase Brown, Najee Harris. So who are you benching out of these 3?
I'm probably benching Pickens.
I think I'll bench Pickens as well.
Something not right there.
Well, it's a Arthur Smith offense. It's a killer for all skill position players outside of the running back.
Well, he's also running lazy ass routes and getting his snaps reduced as a result. And so there's more to it than that. And I guess every good wide receiver is a bit of a diva.
You could see he was a head case in Georgia. So
100%.
You drafted talent. You didn't draft maybe the best teammate. You didn't draft a teammate. You drafted talent there. And hopefully he can get it together.
I'm also not a George Pickens fan, so I can use my bias here to make this decision. Roman Wilson gets to play for the first time today. We'll see what that.
They need somebody to step up as like a number 2 as well.
Yeah, a nice slot option to go with Freiermuth in the middle of the field might be okay. Yep. Not exactly somewhere Arthur Smith likes to put the football, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think George Pickens is super, super talented. He could be like one of the best contested catch guys in the league, but he's just
there's no doubt.
Head case, and the next question after this one's a good one. Also have Josh Downs, Tank Bisbee, Trey Tucker, Lad McConkey, Rico Dowdle, if that changes anything. That was it for the last question. No, it does not for me.
Well, Bigsy's playing. Downs is hurt.
Ish.
Tucker. No, it doesn't change anything for me either.
Trey Tucker kind of gets close for me. I just don't like the matchup today. For sure.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that he's going to be keyed on by their defense either, but I hear you.
Yep. I mean, he'll be the second key, right? It's got to be Brock Bowers who's going to get Surtain all day. Brock Bowers could get Surtain all day.
That is true. This one's all you.
Brisket or ribs? It's ribs for me, for sure. Brisket, I'm just not a big fan of brisket. I know everybody else loves it and loves it. It's just a little bit too fatty for me.
You got them both in the truck, I'm assuming, right?
We don't do ribs very often.
Don't,
no, because you got to you'd have to bring like a smoker on site for those. It would be the best because you don't want you can wrap them, keep them warm for a long, long time. But there's their 6-hour cook. We do brisket occasionally. Bigger events or catering events. Our catering menu is a little bit different than our truck. Our truck, we always have pork, and then we occasionally will have brisket.
I'm a big ribs guy as well.
I love ribs.
I'll go ribs, but the answer honestly is both. The answer is
I'll eat both. Don't get me wrong. I like my brisket. You usually cut it in slices and you eat it like that. It's all
totally
bends over your finger and it's all put together.
You got a nice char rip. You got a nice char rip on that brisket, and it's got a little bit of its elasticity. Oh, baby, let's go.
When we do it in the truck, we shred it and then we put it like we would pulled pork. It's basically pulled brisket.
That'd be
which is also good. I prefer it like that, honestly, like with stuff rather than just by itself. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but eating at your truck is on my bucket list before I can.
Yeah.
So I will definitely get down there at some point.
It's good stuff. Second running back spot needs a fill in, I imagine. 12 teams, super flex, PPR. E. Wilson, Algier, Dare, Ugunbowale. This is more of a question in our wheelhouse.
This is our specialty.
Yeah. Battle of the backups.
Yeah, this one's kind of easy for me. It's Tyler Algier, and he's getting a decent amount of snaps. He's getting a good amount of touches. I think Dare Ungbuola is a kind of a fun story, but Mixon's supposed to play today, so that's going to have a big impact on him if Mixon can stay on the field and healthy. And I like Wilson a lot, but for some reason his touches and snaps have sort of been on the decline recently. So Tyler Algier is good enough to start somewhere. Like, he's a very good running back. He just finds himself in a spot with another very good running back. So Arthur Smith's getting a little bit vindicated, hey, breaking news, Joe Flacco's in for Richardson today. So
fire up your Pittman shares now.
Pittman and Downs are back to being hell yeah. Sorry to take away from your question there, Jeffrey. I think that it's Algier rather easily for me.
Yeah, it's Algier for me as well. This sucks as a big Bijan owner, like in my bigger leagues, because it's just like the utilization of him continues to piss me off. I don't know. I thought that offensive line was a lot, but maybe they're good pass blockers and they're just not very good run blockers. It seems like Bijan just gets touched in the backfield, can't get anything going. You put him on like the Eagles, he's going to do everything Saquon's doing, So it's unfortunate, but when you're split backfield, I'll take Tyler Algier as well. He's going to path to more touches when it comes to these options.
I just think it's possible that Bijan's not as good as we thought. And that doesn't mean he's not good, but we had Bijan's expectation level at like,
I don't know. I think he is as good as we think. I think he is as good as we think. I just think we're looking at literally like a Saquon Barkley situation again, where it's like, if they were in the same situation where he's just, how do I want to word this? The Giants had to give Saquon the ball a ton because there was really nobody else to give the ball to, right? So his situation was bad, where it's like Bijan's utilization is bad. I feel like if he was going to get the amount of volume that like Barkley saw in New York, we would see like similar numbers and things like that. But it's just another guy where it's like, I think later in his career, he could have a ton of value, just like we're seeing Saquon Barkley have right now. So I don't know. I think he's definitely the top two most talented running back in the NFL. It's just not being utilized as so, or not in the situation to show.
Could just be situation though, right?
Right.
But Arthur Smith all of a sudden doesn't look like the idiot that we all thought he was, right? Because all of a sudden there's a split backfield in Atlanta again. Kyle Pitts isn't getting targeted as much as we thought he was. So maybe it's just
you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Yeah,
I think we got one sort of now.
But now the thing with Arthur Smith was you don't need a quarterback now, so it's like you can justify not giving Kyle Pitts targets if the other wide receivers are doing well. You can justify not giving Bijan the usage if you're winning and the other wide receivers are doing well, which is what is happening. It's like Arthur Smith knew, my quarterback sucks, but I'm still not going to give it to these guys that are obvious playmakers. That's the problem there, right? So now you don't have to, because your quarterback is able to still win you the games, or at least keep them close. I mean, the Falcons have been in every game they've lost this year and have won some really good games as well. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards. So
guys that have just been announced as being active: Joe Mixon, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Christian Watson is active. That's a bit of a surprise for me. Jared Alexander is also back for the Packers, so that is a big boost for them. Marlon Humphrey, Ronnie Stanley, Antoine Winfield Jr. being back for Tampa is massive for that. secondary that's been getting beat up on. So that might have an impact on this next question we're going to get to. And then the other two guys are guys that don't even know who the hell they are. So who knows?
Kyler Murray or Cousins?
I'm Kyler Murray. I'm definitely Kyler Murray now that I know that Winfield is playing this week. I think that it's just going to give them a little bit more of a fighting chance against Drake London and Darnell Mooney. It just helps that secondary so much more. But Kyler's given you 50 yards a game rushing, so it's 5 points right off the jump. And I think that Kyler's passing work is coming along, and I'm expecting a big bounce back Marvin Harrison Jr. game today. So I'm going to go with Kyler.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler as well. I think he's a great passer and a really good runner. So you got to take the rushing upside quarterback there. I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to put up maybe not a game like he just did, but he's going to put up 300, 400 plus yard games in the season.
Sorry,
it's just like, are they going to be every week?
I'm confusing myself. I had Atlanta playing Tampa. They're not. They're playing Carolina. So Cousins should be able to shred the Carolina defense. We saw what Caleb did last week. So I think they're both really good starts. But I just like Kyler a little bit more. To Bryce's point, I like the rushing upside.
Yeah, I'll take the rushing upside. If Cousins starts doing that every week, then obviously you got to start in, but we'll wait. Mixon or Bucky? This is Mixon for me.
It is. I'm a little bit apprehensive starting guys coming back off lengthy delays, but at the same time, if he's not good to go, he wouldn't be out there. So we saw what Mixon did in week 1 for Houston. He had a massive game. I think he almost had 200 yards rushing. I'm not expecting that today, but as much as I like Bucky, I like Mixon a little bit more here.
Yeah, this will be a fun game for me to watch. I don't know about the rest of you. At least I have something to root for now.
I'm happy for you, brother.
Thank you. I deserve it. Patriots have been bad recently.
Yeah, it's got to be like the last, must be
decade.
Tough.
Yeah.
It's only been 62 years for me. Hey, that's okay.
12-team Superflex PPR, Rashid, Shaheed, or Amari Cooper is my wide receiver 3.
I will say this, even with Spencer Rattler, this is easily Shaheed for me.
Yeah, heck, with Spencer Rattler, this might be even more Shaheed. That dude can throw it. Like, that guy can swing it around the field. Yeah.
He did say that his job was to get Chris Olave the ball more. So I thought that was interesting. But you just know that Kubiak is still going to call those stretch plays, and Shaheed's the stretch guy, right? And, Rattler, if he has anything, he has the ability to chuck it half the field if he needs to or more. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, give me and Shaheed's starting to get more involved in the middle of the field, which is nice because I really just thought he was a deep ball guy as well. Yeah. But they're kind of expanding his role more and more this season.
Is he the wide receiver 1?
No, I think Chris Olave is still more talented, which helps Rashid Shaheed look better, right? I mean, when you're drawing better corners and things like that, it's going to make you look better. But no, I don't think so. He might be fantasy wise, but not like in reality, no.
Yeah, no, and I meant fantasy wise. I think a lot of this is special talent. DJ Moore just went in the medical tent. Not sure why.
Well, it's good for Keenan Allen.
That's the spirit. Final silver linings.
James Conner. I imagine this is Garrett Wilson or Deontay Johnson. This is Garrett Wilson for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you saw him get absolutely peppered with targets from Rodgers last week. I think that continues. Garrett Wilson, I kind of felt as though he had wide receiver 1 overall upside this year. I'm starting to see why I thought that. I don't think he'll reach that apex, but at the same time, I'm going to take him over Connor and over Deontay here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a ton of targets last week. Would you start Mixon or wait a week and start Tracy or Dowdle today? I would start Mixon.
I definitely wouldn't start Dowdle. He looked okay last week, but it took him 22 touches to get to where he got to, and I'm not sure he's going to get that workload again. Tracy somewhat, but I need to see it again more than once. But it's Joe Mixon for me for sure. I understand the apprehension. It's like I said, I'm a little bit worried starting guys coming back, but I think he's coming back to his previous workload.
I agree. All these notifications, I got to change some lines.
I know, right? Everything's blowing up.
Yep. Good morning, Tuesday Pass. Morning, Marco. Yeah, it's Theo Johnson or Pitts.
Oh, Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts.
And good to see you, Marco.
And then what's another Pitts here? Pitts or Downs?
Pitts. Flacco's in. Maybe it's Downs.
If it's a tight end premium, I'll go with Pitts. If not, I'll go Downs.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. If it's tight end premium, I'll go Pitts. Pretty equal to me. Just tell me what you know that the Vikings are going to beat the Lions.
I don't believe we will. I think it's the first real true test of the year for the Vikings. What I do like for the Vikings is that they've had an extra week to prepare for the Lions. But I think the Lions are a better football team. So we'll see.
Thanks, guys.
Always.
You're welcome, Jeff.
Always. Thank you.
Half PPR, bench one. Cooper, Dell, Downs, and Tolbert.
Looking for the conservative play. I think the safest guy here on this list is Tank Dell with Nico on
the safest. If you're going conservative here, I'm benching Amari Cooper.
100%. He'd probably be the last. Well, it's him and Tolbert again. Flip flopping on that one.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't know because they do play the Eagles today. They're going to have to throw the ball. The Eagles secondary isn't that good.
But Deshaun Watson is still their quarterback.
It is true. And their defensive line is going to cause hectic today. I'll bench Amari Cooper.
And Amari Cooper still has the same hands that he had last week, I believe. So, see, there I go talking bad things about him. He's going to score on the first play of the game again this week.
I hope so. I have to start him in a league today. And
I do too.
It's my last flex spot, so I'm not really
in that super flex league that we're both in that I share a team with Nikolai. I have to start Cooper every week, and it just whatever. Safest guy here is Dell. And I think with Flacco starting, Downs is pretty safe too. But the only thing with Downs that excludes him here is he is coming in banged up with a bit. I think it's a toe injury, and those things can flare up at any minute. So Tank Dell's the easy safe spot here.
I think Keenan Allen just scored another touchdown.
Oh, good.
He did.
Probably should have kept Caleb Williams, hey?
Oh my goodness. Thank God. And you just said Keenan Allen's an afterthought today? Scores 2 touchdowns.
Right. As soon as I said that, it's like, well, that's
how many yards is this? Oh, this is like a 3-yard touchdown.
It was pretty close. Swift took it down to about the 4.
Yeah. I've got a parlay. I need him over. I need him over 43.5 yards. And he's at I think 40. I think he's at 33. But I also have I have a parlay today with like 8 touchdown scores for fun. And my first one was Keenan Allen. Like yeah, Keenan Allen. It's 8 guys to score touchdowns, $10 to win 13,000. So
let's do that. Then you can fly me down for some pulled pork out of the truck.
Really, my only ones that I was nervous about was Keenan Allen, and then my other one is Drake May. I have him running a touchdown today.
I don't think that's preposterous. If you guys get down close and he could definitely
run the option. They run the option with him.
Jacksonville's bad, hey?
Yep, their defense is terrible.
My goodness.
Okay. Which QB? Oh, yeah. Okay, we already said that. Which QB to start in my 12-team 6-point per passing touchdown league?
I think
Flacco, May, or Rattler?
I think it's easy. I think it's Flacco.
Who do the Colts play today?
They play Tennessee, which is a very good pass defense. So.
Yeah, I think I will stay off of them. Man, I honestly want to go with the rushing upside with May today. Does Rattler run?
For his life, South Carolina he did, but he's not like designed to. He's not going to get any design runs, I don't think.
And Tennessee is just a tough defense. Like they're literally number 1 ranked against quarterbacks this year.
They are, and I said earlier that I think Denver and the Chargers facing each other, 2 of the top defenses. Tennessee is right there too. And the Bears' pass defense is legit also. But it goes back to what we said before about like Flacco and Dalton and these guys. They don't give a shit who they're playing. They're just going to sling it. And garbage time counts too. Not that I think Tennessee's going to blow the Colts out, but I think that, like, honestly, who has the best chance of throwing for 2 touchdowns here? Isn't it
probably Flacco? Yeah, probably Flacco.
I get the question, though. Like, I would have.
I think I just want to go with the rushing upside with May, but I also like Rattler's option or like receiving. I'm going to go with Spencer Rattler here. I could see him throw for 2 touchdowns today too. He could easily be throwing the deep balls today. They're going to take deep shots. He's got the best weapons out of these 3, and he might have the strongest arm. May's probably got a stronger arm, but dude's going to sling. I think he'll sling it around today like a veteran. I don't think he knows he's a late round draft pick. He's kind of like, hey, this is my chance. Like, let's see what I got. Like the Saints could very well be in the market to draft a quarterback first overall next year. So Rattler could just he might have that in the back of his mind and say, let's just try and make it to where they draft another position. I don't know.
I think it's interesting how the Saints just bypassed Jake Haener altogether, went directly to Spencer Rattler, and I think that's to your point. They want to see what they have here with this kid.
That makes sense. It makes so much sense
like
to do
Spencer
that.
Rattler. I really liked him going way back. I think he's kind of had a bit of a rough ride in terms of the colleges that he was at and the offenses that he played in. So I wouldn't be blown away if Rattler. Let's put it this way: I have to start Spencer Rattler in a league. I have no choice this week, so I hope you're right. I question if Drake May is as much of a running quarterback as we think he is. I think he's more of a play extender. Sam Howell had to run around at North Carolina as well, but May's got the arm, man, and I think he's legit. I just worry that you guys are going to kill him. And Flacco doesn't give a shit. He is on bonus time, and he just comes in and throws touchdowns. So I'm going to go with Flacco. I would probably rank them Flacco, Rattler, May. And I should probably update my rankings with all these changes. But
I'll go with Rattler, May, Flacco. I don't think he's going to be like a guy that rushes. I think he's got like a 30 to 40 yard rushing upside a week. And, that's a touchdown in a 4-point league. I understand that.
Yeah.
But,
sorry. You look at him more as turning more as a kind of a Caleb guy, like turning broken plays and extending them with his legs.
I will say in the preseason, they ran the option in the red zone with him. They ran a read option with him, and I don't think you flash that unless that's maybe something that you potentially are going to be using consistently throughout the year. Maybe not very often, but consistently, 3 or 4 times a game, especially in the red zone. So
you are definitely the Patriots guy, not me. So
it might be just me giving myself hope at the same time. It really could be.
Okay. In all honesty, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you guys to be pretty crappy, right? Like there's going to be some.
I will say this if Flacco was playing basically any other defense besides like Broncos, Titans or Jets, I probably am. He's my option. He's my answer here. I will say that. Need help. Full PPR. 2 flex. Alec Pierce, Wicks, Bateman. I sort of lean Wicks and Bateman simply because I trust their QBs more. They should be high-scoring games. Flacco is starting. I think I'll go Wicks. Wicks is 1 for me here. And then I'll go with Alec Pierce. I think that he won't be drawing the number 1 corner, which is Ladarius Sneed, or even the number 2 corner. So he could be in for a decent day. For that passing attack.
Yeah, I don't really like Wicks, to be honest. I think he's just too inconsistent, and it's not that he isn't talented. It's alluding to what you said earlier about the plethora of weapons inside the Green Bay offense, and that the one guy you want on Green Bay more than anyone, in my opinion, is Jordan Love, because he has all those weapons and he can do whatever he can. So
Jaden Reed's consistent too. I love that dude.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So Alec Pierce is arguably the third option, right? Behind Pittman and Downs.
Yep, he definitely is. And he got 3 catches last week, and he had 120 yards. So he's getting shots consistently too.
And Bateman, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about Rashad Bateman.
Let me tell you, Lamar has to throw for 350 yards for Bateman to be any sort of value. So that's all you need to know there, and that's not going to happen very often.
And I know that Washington's secondary isn't anything to write home about, but nonetheless, I don't think that I'm looking for Lamar to do what he did again last week. Did Trevor Lawrence throw a pick?
Yeah.
I will definitely start Pierce and Wicks here. This is another question, and I don't mean to laugh, but these are the decisions that I have to make. Look, usually Bryce and I get the question of sit 1, and it's Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, and Justin Jefferson. Those are the questions we usually get. So
yeah.
As we get into the bye weeks and as the injuries continue to mount, we're going to see more and more of things like this. And I think at the end of the day, you might as well go for the upside play, right? Pierce could catch a 65-yard touchdown easily. Wicks could, get 12 targets and turn 10 of them into catches and score. Bateman arguably doesn't have nearly any of the upside. Who was that?
DJ Moore.
He came back?
He has 5 touchdowns. Caleb Williams has 5 touchdowns.
Probably should have kept him, hey?
G. Willikers. He is going off. Please tell me I started him in this one league. Oh, I didn't. I started Kirk Cousins over him. Ouch.
I don't think Kirk's going to get you what Caleb got you, but he'll be okay.
No, he sure won't.
DJ's short, isn't he? That elbow down?
He might be. Yeah. That'd be cool if they did like a little fade to Keenan Allen.
Right? Yeah, he's short. Yeah.
I had someone trying to trade me Swift and Aaron Jones for Metcalf.
If you can afford to give up the wide receiver, I think that's not a bad deal. Jones, I'm a little worried about he's going to be out. I don't think he's back when the Vikes come back. He's a bit of a slow healer. But Swift is gone from a guy that I would have considered dropping to a must-start running back pretty quickly. Yeah, he was down.
Yeah, in a redraft league, I would do this probably. Dynasty, no, I'm going to keep Metcalf.
That's a great point. Format matters for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the wide receiver cushion in a redraft league, then I'm pulling the trigger on this for sure.
Pittman or Ridley?
It's Pittman now. Ridley's been bad.
Mm.
You know how many targets he has this year? I'm going to look, but it's not many.
Pittman is in for a rough day with Ladarius Sneed more than likely guarding him the entire day. But he's still going to probably get targets. Joe Flacco doesn't give a shit who's guarding who. He's going to just throw it, sling it. Interceptions will just go down in his stats. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Calvin Ridley has 19 targets on the season.
Yep, that's pretty bad.
He's your number one wide receiver.
Who for my wide receiver 1 and 2 in flex? I already put DJ Moore in, so I guess that's wide receiver 2. Okay, so we need one wide receiver, one flex. Wandale, Calvin, Tank, Slayton, Tolbert, Trey Tucker, Ray McLeod, Josh Jacobs, Jerome Ford. DeAndre Swift scored.
Wandale for sure. Could get 20 targets. I'm going to go with Wandale and Tank Dell.
Taking the Dale.
I like the little rhyme going.
I like Wandale today as well. And then
Wandale today as well. How long can we continue to rhyme for?
And then I'll take Josh Jacobs. I'll take Josh Jacobs.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Patriots slot corner is pretty good, so they might get tanked out a little bit of problems today. Stephon Diggs in for
I'm changing my mind and going with you. Jacobs is probably in for a good day. So
yeah, he's got to blow up here soon, I think. I think Joe could have a decent day. I mean, I think Stephon Diggs might be in for a rough day.
My sleeper is Xavier. I think it's Hutchinson. The
yeah, that's a
receiver. I think he has a good day today, but we'll see.
Broncos or Packers defense? Who do the Broncos play today?
They play the Chargers. I will take the Broncos here.
Yeah, I'll take the Broncos.
Packers get Arizona. Kyler's not getting sacked.
Yep. Broncos rather easily break.
Man.
All right, I'll answer this next question and I'll get going.
Oh, I got to go in the driver's seat, hey?
Yep, you got plenty of questions at least to keep you busy for a little bit.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I ended early last time. I will say I ended around noon because I answered these questions by myself, so I was fast. We had like 4 viewers, and I was like, guys, we don't have anything else. I'm just gonna get going. So you got a little workout in before the games. It's kind of nice. You'll go fly through these questions because there's no one to talk to about it.
I ramble like an idiot, so I'll be okay.
Kamara or Pollard? I'm just looking at matchups. I don't give a crap about the matchups. I'm going Alvin Kamara.
I think it's Kamara regardless of matchup as well. I think that
he's too valuable in the pass game. Like he gets 4 to 5 catches every week. He's like got a 10-point floor every week.
Rookie quarterback in his first start. Like, let's do that. So, yeah.
Yep. All righty. That's it. And then I will say he told you to take that hat off. Have some faith, man.
Well, I think anybody who's been wearing this hat for as long as I have is a little bit realistic as well. So I have all the faith in the world. I thought the Vikings were going to win 4 games this year. We've won 5 already. So pleasantly surprised with what we're doing. Incredibly realistic with what could come. There's a lot of runway left. Sam Darnold hasn't looked like much of anything the last couple of weeks. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But anytime the Vikings can win, it's good. I usually most seasons love bye week because I have no stress. But this week I kind of miss not being able to watch him play. So, dude, you're off to your tat?
Yep, I got a tattoo appointment.
Are we building off of this?
No, it's my leg. Get my whole left leg done all the way up to like kind of middle of the, like probably like 4 or 5 inches above my kneecap. But I'm still down with the ankle right now. Like we're doing the backside of my lower leg today, starting at least.
Well, enjoy that. Like I always say, the invitation
It will not be fun.
Live stream from the chair is always open.
No, don't want to see the faces. The leg sucks. Not a fan.
Awesome.
Not a fan, but no pain, no gain, right? I guess technically.
Yep,
All righty. Have
man.
fun. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
All right. Let's see if I could do this. First time in the host chair all by myself. Yeah, man. I'll leave the Vikings chat at this as I'm enjoying it and I hope it continues. So, all right. Marco from the future, longtime listener, longtime caller. They are destroying the Jags. And I think that Jacksonville might be bad. And I think what we're looking at here is Bryce and I were talking about it earlier is Doug Peterson in trouble? He probably is. I think the fact that they're in London again next week, they probably hang on to him or they send him packing home by himself and promote an OC or a defensive coordinator or special teams guy. But the Bears defense is legit and it has been for a while. And, you know, with Jalen Johnson back there and Kyle Gordon, they're tough to play against. But this offense, it looks like Caleb's figuring it out. And Swift is kind of reborn. He's got 3 solid passing targets and wide receivers. And Cole Kmet is kind of an extra in that offense. And he scored twice today. So, yeah, they're destroying them. And I don't think that the Jags are going to be the only team that the Bears destroy this year. Rick will be happy this year. That's good. From Johnny Camarena, Jacobs or Bucky Irving in a full PPR. I'm a pretty big Bucky Irving fan this week. I think he's in a really good spot against Rashid White. With Rashid White being out. That said, Josh Jacobs is also in a good spot. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals defense is going to be too challenging for him and his Packer mates. And I think that I will stick with Jacobs. I just think that he's probably got more likelihood of scoring and the Packers could put up a bunch of points in that game. So Josh Jacobs is good. If you have the opportunity to flex Bucky Irving, you probably don't, or you wouldn't ask this question, but I would absolutely look to flex him if you can. Cody Lambert, full PPR, start 2, Dell, Wandell, or Olave. Thanks. You're more than welcome. Wandell would be my number 1 out of these 3, and as weird as it sounds, Tank Dell would be behind that. I'm a little bit concerned with Olave in that offense. That said, Radler did say specifically his job is to get Olave more involved in that offense. But with Nico Collins out, with CJ Stroud's affinity and love for Tank Dell, I'm going to go with Dell. And Wandale Robinson is the only other guy in the offense other than Malik Neighbors and Darius Slayton when Neighbors is out that sees targets. So I do think Wandale could see 20 targets today, and it's not outrageous. So I am absolutely going to go with Wandale Robinson, and I will reluctantly take Tank Dell over Chris Olave. And thank you for the question. Moving on to Rob Kane, who without fail is in here every week. Thank you, Rob. Sit 1, Pittman, Ridley, Wandale, Deontay. I was just saying, like, Ridley has 19 targets on the season, so he's going to be my sit here. If Anthony Richardson was playing today and not Joe Flacco, I think that Pittman probably would be. I cannot sit Wandale with that target that I think he's going to get that I just alluded to. And I think Deontay Johnson got a good dose of Jalen Johnson last week, and no one really does that well against him. So I think that Deontay will come back okay. I don't think that the Atlanta defense is nearly what the Chicago defense is in terms of passing. We saw them get beat up to a decent extent in the last game where Cousins had to throw for 505 just to pull that one out. So it's Deontay here for me over both. I know you want to set 1. I'm just trying to rank him in my head, but I think I would go with Wandale or Deontay 1A, 1B, Pittman 2, and then I'm sitting Ridley. So great question. Bear down indeed. They are pounding. we might see a little bit of garbage time, which is always fun for fantasy football here at the end. But we'll see what happens. I could use some Evan Ingram. I could use some Tank Bigsby here as well. So I'm not going to be totally disappointed if Jacksonville has a pulse and does something here. But the Bears look good on all sides of the ball right now, and that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. So I'm a Vikings guy, so I don't want the Bears to be overly good. They can beat everybody they want as long as they don't beat Minnesota. But the RotoHeat founder, Rick Butts, is a long-time diehard Bears fan. So part of me is happy for him to see that his team has a legitimate offense for the first time probably in his life. So good stuff. It's kind of losing my spot here. I don't normally do this, so I'm winging it. But 12 people here and only 4 likes. Come on, people. Well, Bree, thank you so much for that. That's greatly appreciated. Yeah, man, like we do this every Sunday. It's either Bryce or myself, or it's usually Bryce and myself. We go live every Sunday and answer your start-sit questions. If you like us, give us a like. Please subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of the times that we go live. Now that I've got the keys to the car here, I might start sprinkling in some Thursday stuff, maybe some Wednesday, maybe some waiver wire stuff. I get bored easily, so I can jump in here and chat with you guys. That's always a favorite thing for me to do. So appreciate the shout out. And like I said, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Jaws, another long time RotoHeat favorite. Thanks, buddy, for being here. Tight end close calls. Freiermuth or Kraft in another league, Goddard or Laporta. So for Freiermuth and Kraft, I'm going to ride the hot hand with Kraft. He looks legit. And like I kind of alluded to earlier when I was talking about Josh Jacobs, I think Green Bay is going to move that football pretty good on Arizona. Definitely the weak part of that football team is their defense. So I think that Kraft could have another big game here. And all you really need for him to do is score because tight end position is a mess this season. And Goddard and Laporta, I'm going to go Sam Laporta. So I've been pretty vocal about Sam Laporta all offseason and into the start of this season that I saw regression coming for Sam Laporta. I definitely didn't see it coming to the extent that it has. And I think it's important to note that Sam Laporta had a hamstring injury in the preseason that he carried into the regular season with. I think he's feeling a little bit better here. And Dallas Goedert really took off when A.J. Brown left the lineup and Devonta Smith left the lineup as well. They both returned today. So I think Dallas Goedert slides back more into more of what his traditional tight end role would be, 3 for 40 or 4 for 60, which again, in today's tight end world is not a bad thing. But I think that Sam Laporta will exceed Dallas Goedert in terms of targets and productivity, especially in the game against Dallas where, oh, that should have been a touchdown. Especially in the game against Dallas where I think there's a ton of passing. Sorry, got a little distracted by Brian Thomas Jr. Kind of dropping one, which is sad. Could have used that for a multitude of shares that I have there. So is what it is. Nobody cares about my fantasy teams. Yeah, man, I think Keenan Allen is back. That was definitely a drop. He definitely looks good today. They did make note. Bryce was speaking about this earlier that they were going to try to get Keenan Allen more involved in the offense. I called Keenan Allen an afterthought at the beginning of this show. So please stick with me to the end. Don't give up on me. I think that was a misguided take and a little bit short-sighted, but nice to see Keenan Allen back. I have him on a contending roster, and I could definitely use that. So Marco from the future, who's going to win the World Series, the Yankees or the Dodgers? So I guess we have ruled out the Mets and the Guardians. I'm still having trouble getting used to that. But Marco, you're from the future, so it's probably a question that I should be asking you. But I think that you might see the Red Sox stuff in the background. So I'm going to be cheering for the Dodgers due to my Mookie Betts love. So if it comes down to those two, I will ask the baseball gods to give me a Dodgers World Series over a Yankees World Series. I think we'd have to get down to one team in baseball for me to be cheering for the Yankees. Jaws, tattoo appointment on a Sunday morning, double blasphemy, better be of a football wrapped in a rosary. Amen, brother. That's a good call out. I think that, Bryce is in that cool tat range, right? Like he's got a really nice one up on his shoulder, and I haven't seen the leg obviously because we're a waist up show here, but no, I think, hey, I took a flight for work yesterday or last week and bailed on him. So I'm happy that he's getting his work done. Talk a lot when we by ourselves. So you need a little bit of water. So maybe he waited this long for a Tebow tattoo. I think that would be pretty cool. When you're doing a full leg tattoo, couldn't you do kind of the Tebow in like where the knee kind of bends? I think that might work. I'll send Bryce a DM, see if he can change up his design last minute. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. DSTs are a funny bunch, right? So I think what we're looking for when we're looking for a defense to start is sacks and turnovers more than anything. So when I look at the Packers playing the Cardinals, I know mobile quarterbacks tend to get sacked more often because they hold the ball and they try to make plays. But Kyler doesn't seem to be that kind of guy. The Broncos D is just legit, right? So this week, against Justin Herbert and a team that's very slow moving, I don't think they're going to deliver you a lot of fantasy points. So if your defensive scoring gives you kind of a bonus for lack of points allowed, I think the Broncos are good. Now, rest of season, the Packers playing a pretty tough division, right? The Lions are good. The Bears are showing us what they can do. The Vikings are pretty good. And they got a bunch of games against us still this week now, or this season. Now, that being said, the Broncos kind of play the Chiefs, but their division other than the Chiefs doesn't really scare me that much. So the Broncos have been sort of lighting it up in terms of the defensive side of the ball, which gave them a little bit of life and allowed them to beat teams like Tampa and get Bo Nix a little bit more runway. So rest of season, if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick the Broncos. Never been a big hold on to more than one defensive kind of guy in the leagues that I play in that have a defense either. So that would be my advice, and I hope that comes to fruition as being the right advice for you. Cody Lambert, do I start Ferguson over Laporta? Thanks again. I think I do this week. I think that, again, I see a ton of points in that game. I think that Jared Goff has a multitude of weapons that Dak Prescott doesn't. He has two running backs that he can utilize, both in the running and the passing game. He has Sam Laporta. He has Jameson Williams. He has, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And to a lesser extent, he has Khalif Raymond. And I think Dak is kind of in a situation where he has a really terrible, lackluster run defense that I don't see doing anything against Detroit. And he has CeeDee Lamb, who's an absolute stud. Jalen Tolbert, who's stepping up. Turbin is another option that I don't think is really much to worry about. But Ferguson is definitely, probably in the conversation for 8 to 10 targets, could score a couple of times. So I think I'm just going to, I haven't done this yet today. I'm going to pull up my rankings here just for shits and giggles. And I have Ferguson at 2. I have Bowers 1, Ferguson 2. I have Laporta at 7. So I haven't updated my stuff since some of these announcements have come out. So I would probably move Laporta ahead of Goddard at this point. So he'd probably be 6 for me. So long-winded answer of saying, I would take Ferguson over Laporta. And thanks for your question. Peter Olivier from Facebook. Thanks for being here, sir. Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott? Back to my rankings again. I believe I have Dak higher. I do. I have Dak at 4 and Kirk at 8, I believe. 10. I just think Dak has no choice but to throw 50 times, if not 60 times today, to keep up with the Lions. That in addition to having a lackluster run game, he's got a depleted defense, right? Micah Parsons is out. A couple other guys that I can't think of off the top of my head that are key defensive additions for the Cowboys aren't going to play today. And the Lions have all the horses and can go crazy on offense. So I just think this is a volume play. I also think that the Panthers are a good opportunity for Kirk, but I also think they could get up early and close it out on the ground, right? So Dak doesn't have that option. Dak's going to have to throw all day long. His arm might fall off by the time that game ends. So I'm going to go with Dak here, and thank you very much, Peter, for coming in and dropping your question. Jaws, flex Sutton or hope Chase Brown goes off on Sunday Night Football. Only have Gesicki or Eric All as a backup plan. So I think you're kind of locked into Sutton or Chase Brown. I think that I'm going to lean Chase Brown here just because I think Bo Nix is really in tough against the Chargers this week. And I think Chase Brown is in a good spot. He showed us what he could do a little bit last week, albeit Moss was out, and he might stay out. Like, I think he's active today, but I think it might be a little bit more Chase Brown than Zach Moss this week. I think Gesicki would be my choice between him and Eric All. As a dynasty football manager, I absolutely love Eric All, and I think it's only a matter of time before he takes over that tight end position. But there's literally 4 tight ends that are involved in Cincinnati on a weekly basis, so I kind of want to stay clear of that position on that team altogether. So I like Chase Brown this week. I like Cortland Sutton. I just can't really trust the situation that he finds himself in terms of opponent and rookie quarterback. I know Bo Nix had some showed us some life, but I'm not going to hitch any wagons to that horse quite yet. And that was a Broncos pun that I didn't even know I was making. So look at me go. Thank you. I appreciate people coming in and thanking us for the wisdom that we believe that we have and share with you. But at the end of the day, I fully thank all of you for being here, because if you're not, I'm not. And I've got to, I don't know what I would do on a Sunday morning if I didn't have this. So I appreciate you all. Dollar Bill coming back in. Pittman, Wicks, or Watson, full PPR. Thanks. You are welcome. Originally, I said not a chance because I thought Watson was out, but he's going to play. But he's still not going to get in there over Wicks for me. And with Joe Flacco being at quarterback over Anthony Richardson this week, I'm going to go back to Pittman, even though he's got a bit of a risk with a back injury. But I just can't trust anything in Green Bay other than the quarterback and the running back and somewhat Kraft. I just have a feeling Romeo Doubs, with how he sort of manifested a 1-game suspension, comes back and squeaky wheels get grease. And there wasn't a long ago that Doubs was the number 1 target in that offense. Jaden Reed has definitely stepped up to become that for Green Bay. But Dontavian Wicks is just too boom bust for me, and Watson is the poster child for boom bust. So with Joe Flacco and his affinity for throwing the football, it's Michael Pittman Jr. here for me. Zahn Patel, Pittman or Dobbins in PPR. So it's going to be a lot of Dobbins this week with Gus Edwards going on IR. Kareem Vidal, I can't even remember his name, is a rookie for Los Angeles that I like, but I don't see him really being too overly involved in this one. So again, back to Joe Flacco's affinity for throwing the football, back to Michael Pittman Jr. being good at catching the football. I'm going to go with Pittman here. Dobbins is a fun story, but that Denver Broncos defense is legit. So I'm off of that. They announced that Flacco is going to start today. So I think if you're looking for boom potential, Michael Pittman gives you the opportunity to boom here over Dobbins. There's just more in the passing game than anything else. So that's where I'm at. So I'm caught up here, everyone, in questions. So I'm just going to kind of ramble. If there's anything that you guys, I think I missed this one here. Let me go back and talk baseball for a second. Lifelong Red Sox fan. Never thought I would ever see anything good come out of that. And then 04 happened. Most of you are probably too young to even know that the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004. But thankfully for me, they also followed it up in 2013 and 2017 as well. A little bit of a shit show of an organization right now that all of a sudden decided they don't want to spend money. But it is what it is. So what game are you guys looking forward to the most today? So I need a game to watch. I'm obviously a Vikings fan. I'm kind of leaning towards the Lions and the Cowboys, but being Canadian and being up here, we have Thanksgiving this week, and I know that we celebrated at different times of the year. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving. Ours is on a Monday, but we always do a dinner on a Sunday. So I'll be out at the families today, breaking bread with them and having something to eat while there's majority of these games going on. But I think that the Cowboys and the Lions looks good for me. So feel free to help me out here being solo and throw stuff in the chat. Fields or love this week is a great question. It's love for me, but I don't think that I can see anything that would make me hate starting Justin Fields just because of his ability to be a top 5-6 quarterback every week. Like he had a rough, sorry, I'm just looking at my rankings. He had a rough one last week. But the weather was nasty and all that other stuff. So I do have him ranked pretty low this week. I don't think he needs to run that much against the Raiders. I think that Harris and with Jalen Warren coming back, Freiermuth and maybe Pittman and even Roman Wilson making his NFL debut today lessens the need for Justin Fields to get on his horse and go on his own. So I'm going to go with Love here. I think he has mentioned it 10 times on this show as well. Is he's going to throw the ball a lot today, and he's got a ton of weapons in that offense. So I think that's definitely where I'm going to go. Like the Red Sox since my first visit to the States in August of 2000. Well, that's cool. I appreciate that. And, for the longest time, liking the Red Sox was a death sentence. And we're kind of going back to that now. So hopefully we'll right the ship, maybe write a couple of checks with it, and get some guys back in there that can play baseball a little bit better than the crew we've got going on now. And I'm also going to say this, I'm not an Alex Cora fan at all. So if we could move on and get a new manager, I'd be pretty happy with that. So Rob's coming in saying Bucks versus Saints. I think that's a good call too, Rob. I think if that's an early one, and I believe it is. So that'll be the one I watch out of the gate. Definitely interested in seeing Rattler play. I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan as well, and a big on Bucky Irving this week. There's a lot of things in that game that I want to watch. So that's a good call. I think I'm definitely going to watch that one. Glue 3 Sniff 3R making me work there. Hey, buddy. Calvin Ridley or Antonio Gibson. This one is easily Gibson for me, especially when you factor in the half-point PPR. Calvin Ridley, 19 targets season to date, and this is week 6. That's crazy. Malik Neighbors had that in his first half of football this year. So I know I'm going to two extreme ends of the example list there, but Calvin Ridley it's inconsistent quarterback play. It's poor quarterback play. It's a wide receiver that just isn't what he once was, which is sad because I once had quite the affinity for Calvin Ridley. But Antonio Gibson without Ramondre Stevenson today, with a rookie quarterback that's probably going to check down to him when he needs him the most, and a guy that's going to probably have 12 to 15 carries, it's Gibson for me, I think, quite easily. Jaws, drop Akers or Miles Sanders in Dynasty. Rasheen Ali coming off IR, so I need to make room. He has Derrick Henry. Figured Miles would get traded, but not many rumors going around. Yeah, I just don't think that there's a lot of teams in the NFL that don't have depth in their organization that's as good or better than Miles Sanders, especially when you factor in that kind of ludicrous contract that Carolina gave him. That said, Cam Akers is useless, in my opinion. I think that we saw what was going to happen, what would happen if Joe Mixon got hurt. He got hurt, and Cam Akers did nothing. So I get that Brooks is probably coming back and Chuba's ahead of Sanders as well, but Sanders does have the ability to give you 8 to 10 fantasy points if given the opportunity. And I know that's nothing great, but the reality is our dynasty league rosters, for the most of us, if we play in roster sizes of about 30 players, they're littered with guys we're never going to start, but we also don't want to drop them for whatever reason. So if I had to drop one of the two guys here, it's Cam Akers, a guy who has been beat up injury-wise that took away from what once was a promising career. I was never a big Cam Akers guy, but nonetheless, injuries have definitely put a bit of a damper on what could have been in his career. But I'm going to hold on to Miles Sanders. I think Rasheen Ali has some good upside coming. It's a while, but it's coming. So we'll see. But yeah, get rid of Akers, in my opinion. Marker from the future: Tolbert, Dobbs, Dell, McLeod, Dotson, start one. Okay, well, I'm just going to do this in the process of elimination first. Dotson's an afterthought, especially with Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown back in the lineup. He couldn't do anything with them on the sidelines. So Ray McLeod is a soft spot in my heart for Ray. Let me try again. There's a soft spot in my heart for Ray McLeod. I like him a lot, but he's not going to get the start over Tank Dell or Jalen Tolbert. Dobbs is too inconsistent for me, even though I said I could see him bouncing back. So if I'm starting one, I'm starting Tank Dell. and then close second would be Jalen Tolbert. IDO OBJ, Jared Goff at Dallas, Justin Fields at Vegas, or Daniel Jones at Cincinnati. Pick one. It's Daniel Jones. I think Jared Goff does a lot today. I think Justin Fields doesn't. But I think Daniel Jones, we've seen what Cincinnati's defense has been giving up week in and week out. And other than the week 1 game against Jacoby Brissett, they've pretty much been shredded and given up a solid QB1 game to their opponent. Daniel Jones will throw the ball a lot. He also has been surprisingly spry coming off of that, ACL injury from a season ago. So I'd rank them Jones, Goff, Fields. I think that the Detroit running backs could do a lot on the ground today against a defense without Micah Parsons, without Eric Kendricks, and a bunch of other guys. So that pushes Goff down a little bit. But Daniel Jones is going to run himself, and he's probably going to throw for a couple in this one. And it's just based on defense more than anything else. Pure talent-wise, most weeks probably would have Justin Fields ranked first, Jared Goff second, and Daniel Jones third. Just the way the things line up this week, it's going to be Daniel Jones for me. Castile, my man. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in. Jalen Tolbert or Tank Dell? It's funny. We've had this question a lot today. I am Tank Dell, but Jalen Tolbert is right there. He has been very involved in that offense. I think that there's definitely an opportunity for Tolbert to be involved today in a game where there's going to be a ton of passing. But I like Tank Dell. CJ Stroud likes Tank Dell even more than I do. So I'm going to go with Dell here. Matheson jumps in and says, drop both. Akers and Sanders are bums. And they are. But, man, I tell you, when you're sitting in a dynasty league that has absolutely nothing on your waiver wire and you're 30 rosters deep, Akers and Sanders hold more value than what's on the waiver wire, believe it or not. So I get it. They're bums, but there's garbage on your waiver wire. So don't drop someone that does have, although a faint and a unclear path to being relevant, they at least have a path to being relevant. There is practice squad guys and bouncers and bartenders on waiver wires in most of dynasty leagues at this point of the season. So if you have to drop one like he does to get a roster spot for LE, that makes a ton of sense. But if you're just dropping them for the sake of dropping them, you might as well just hold on to them because someone's going to pick them up. And there's nothing worse than somebody picking up a bag of crap that you dropped and him having a good game against you when you play him. Cody Lambert, need to drop one at tight end, likely, or Njoku. Wow, so that's tough. Isaiah Likely showed us that he was going to be the greatest tight end in the world in week 1 and then disappeared and went into the witness protection program until hauling in that ridiculous touchdown from Lamar last week. Now, David Njoku is a good tight end in a tough situation in an offense that's broken with a quarterback that's totally lost and a quarterback that when he wasn't lost never really had an affinity for the tight end position. So Isaiah Likely is the tight end 1 in Baltimore, whether we want it to be Mark Andrews or not. It isn't. Charlie Kohler looks like he's more involved in the offense than Mark Andrews this season. So if this is the only choice that I have and I have to drop one of these 2 tight ends, I am going to drop David Njoku. It's tough, but that's what I'm going to do. And Castile jumps in here because Castile is one of the smartest men I know and agrees with me to drop Njoku. So, yeah, it's tough. I just think Cleveland is an absolute mess. And I kind of want as little Cleveland Browns as I can get at this point. Sports Spotlight, start 2, PPR, Wicks, Ridley, Pittman, and McConkey. It's going to be Pittman 1 and probably Wicks 2 here. And I know I've talked about Wicks being inconsistent, but I keep hammering on the fact that Calvin Ridley has 19 targets and this is week 6. And Ladd McConkey is a player I like a lot, but I think he's in tough against, Denver's defense is legit. And I don't think he's going to see Surtain necessarily because he runs more out of the slot. But the rest of the slot corner and their names escape me. I'm not much of a defensive guy. I need Craig in here or Brad with their IDP expertise. I think Ladd's in tough today, and I think the Chargers run a lot, and I think they play super, super slow. They run the least amount of plays of any team in the league. So I definitely like Pittman with Flacco going today, and I'm going to get Wicks in there. Very muddied and clouded. Actually, I'm not. Screw it. I know that Lab McConkey, I kind of talked myself into some sanity here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Sports Spotlight, but I don't know what Wicks is going to get for targets. So if I'm playing ceiling, it's Pittman and Wicks. If I'm looking at just sort of a floor player, a bit more of a realistic approach, Lad's going to get some targets. I might not catch many of them, but he probably gets 6 to 8 targets in this one. And Pittman is going to get a ton of targets from Flacco because Flacco doesn't give a shit. He'll throw it to anybody, whether they're covered or not. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to go with those two. Cade comes in here with a trade question. Trade Bowers and Shakir for Charbonneau, Josh Allen, and Kincaid. He has Richardson. So I'm assuming this is a 1 QB league because I'm not trading Josh Allen with anything. I should get both of those guys if it's a super flex league. I'm probably assuming that this is a redraft league as well. And Cade, you can jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong anywhere. But Charbonneau is a nice piece. Richardson's a bit of a mess, but it's a 1 QB league, so hang tight. I know Khalil Shakir is banged up right now, but I'm going to stay with the Bauer Shakir side of this trade. I just think that Kincaid is not the tight end that we wanted him to be. Not that he's not talented, he's just not involved in the passing game in Buffalo as much as we would like. Khalil Shakir is. We just need to get him back on the field, and Brock Bowers is an absolute stud. Brock Bowers is probably already the number 1 tight end in football. So I think it's a reasonable and fair offer, but I'm going to stick with the Bowers and Shakir side of this trade, whether that's you trading it or keeping it. So, but it's you saying trade Bowers and Shakir. So I'm going to keep them. Start 2 PPR, Jerome Ford, Chase Brown, James Cook, Bucky Irving. So I'm going to start Bucky Irving for sure. James Cook scares me a little bit. He's a little bit banged up, does play Monday night. So if you want to go James Cook here, I'm not going to fight you on it, but you have to have some kind of a backup plan. And I would have Chase Brown over Jerome Ford. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go with Bucky Irvin and Chase Brown. If I need some points and some upside, I'm going to go with Bucky Irvin and James Cook. Jaws pops back in. Akers did average 4.5 yards per rush in 3 or 4 starts. That's fine. I don't play in any yards per rush leagues. He only was fantasy relevant because he caught a touchdown pass against the Vikings. I just think that Daryl Ungabawala looked like a better option in that backfield. But again, Jaws, in that depth of a dynasty league, I don't really blame you if you want to keep him and drop Sanders. But to Matheson's point, they're both kind of trash and both probably irrelevant. The funniest thing in fantasy football is how we tend to the players on our rosters become our kids, and we kind of value them whether we're realistic or not. So I think, especially in a dynasty league, you'll always find a reason to hang on to some guy. And Cam Akers, 4.5 yards per rush in 3 of his 4 starts probably is a reason to hold on to him, but I'm not holding on to him. I get it. Still young, yeah, but his legs are about 75 years old. So I just think that he's kind of cooked. And again, Joseph, I don't think it matters which one you drop, but you absolutely should drop one for Ali. I totally agree with that. Sports Spotlight, even with Pittman almost going on to IR, you would start him 100%, because if the Colts trust him to put him on the field and Joe Flacco is his quarterback, he's going to be relevant, and he's probably going to be in the top 36 wide receivers. I don't see Ridley getting there. I don't necessarily see Wicks getting there, and I don't see McConkey getting there. I think it's Pittman easily over those 4. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but I'm definitely going to start him without a doubt. Castile back again. Dell, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Devontae Smith start 2. This one's tough. I think this is where I sit Tank Dell finally. Devontae Smith's coming back. I think he's going to be involved. They're going to need to throw quite a bit because there's going to be a lot of points in that game. Wan'Dale Robinson is the number 1 target for Daniel Jones this week, with Malik Neighbors out for the 2nd week with his concussion. And as much as I like Tank Dell, I think he's probably going to be the 3rd highest scorer of these guys. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's weird. I can't see myself sitting that guy, but sometimes you end up with rosters that have this much talent like Castile's here that you just don't have a choice. Hassan, need 2 running backs and a flex between Eckler, Pollard, Connor, Jacobs, and McLaurin. So Terry McLaurin definitely has to be in your lineup here. Since Jaden Daniels has come to onto the scene, we finally have a quarterback for Terry McLaurin, and he's absolutely exploded. So he's my flex. Now I need 2 running backs between Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, James Conner, and Jacobs. I got to look at my rankings. So my first thought is I want Conner in there, but I'm not 100% sure if I do. Man, these are some good options. I have Pollard ranked pretty high this week. He's my running back 8. Eckler I have at 12 with Brian Robinson being out. Connor, who I originally would have thought was there, I have down at 19. And Jacobs is right there as well. Where the hell do I have him? I'm staring right at it and can't see it. So, man, I'm going to go with Tony Pollard because I think that he's going to be heavily involved, and I'm going to go with Jacobs as well. I think he's slightly going to get the nod over the other 2. Eckler kind of seems to be an 8 to 10 touch guy, regardless of who's in the backfield with him. I think Jeremy McNichols could be in for a nice slam start this week if you're in desperation need for a running back. It's a great question, man, and I really hope that I'm helping you. I know I'm rambling right now, but Terry McLaurin is definitely in my lineup here. I have a hard time sitting Pollard and Jacobs this week, so that's the way I'm going to go. So I'm caught up on questions. We'll hang here for a bit. We got 12 people in here. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you very much. Feel free to drop a like, subscribe, and notification. So when I'm back with Bryce in the coming weeks, you will get a notification to be able to tune into our show. It's always fun to come in here and ask these answer these it's fun when you're alone. Start-sit questions. So, and you do get those differences of opinion for sure. Like we talked about Michael Pittman here. Would you start him even though he was almost on IR? Because he's not on IR and he's in the lineup. And I know that sometimes that can be sort of fool's gold. I can remember vividly a few years back in the fantasy playoffs, Keenan Allen making this I'm good to go claim. So I started him. And a lot of people told me not to. And he did nothing. So there's definitely the possibility that happens. There's definitely the possibility that Michael Pittman Jr. gets hit in the back on one of the first snaps of the game today and he's out for the rest of the game. But there's equally that opportunity that every time these guys step on a field and do up that chin strap, it's the last snap they're ever going to take. So you just never really know. We just have to go with, I'm a big believer in history dictating the future. And if Marco from the future is still here, you can let me know if that's accurate or not. But I just think that if you're looking for, it's process over results for me. And the process says to play Michael Pittman Jr. and to sit the other options there. You know, Calvin Ridley's 19 targets in the season. Like I keep banging on that one, but I can't believe it. He's the number 1 wide receiver in that offense, and he's seen 19 targets. And we're in week 6. And yes, Tennessee had a bye, but come on. He should be seeing 10 to 12 targets a game as the number 1 wide receiver in that offense, but he's not. And that's one of the reasons why I like Tony Pollard so much, because Will Levis is kind of a gong show, right? Like he has 9 turnovers season to date, and they've played 4 games. So I'm a little bit worried about that passing offense in general. DeAndre Hopkins is an afterthought. He's a spot snap guy here and there. He's not the guy he once was. Would love to see him get traded out of there to somewhere like Kansas City or somewhere where he can be relevant even in a limited snap role. But yeah, there's just not a lot going on. So I'm going to hang for a little bit more. I'm just going to hang here and check my lineups to make sure that I've done what I'm doing in terms of guys just setting my lineups, because there has been a few surprises, like Michael Pittman being active was one. Joe Flacco being active was another. I play in some guillotine leagues. One that I was kind of up against it in. I made the decision to start Cole Kmet over Evan Ingram. Got lucky there as Kmet bagged a couple of touchdowns today. But I have Josh Downs in that league. I have Khalil Shakir in that league. I have James Cook in that league. I have a lot of guys that are very questionable. So a little antsy in terms of that. If you guys aren't familiar with the guillotine league, basically the lowest performing team each week gets chopped. So they're gone. And then their entire team goes to the waiver wire. So I play in about 3 or 4 a year. Typically I'm a week 8 to 10 survivor. I missed out in my own league that I commissioned, which is not humbling at all. Got chopped in week 2 by 0.26 points. It happens, but it's a cool format because there's a laundry list of great talent every week on the waiver wire. So yeah, if you got anything, fire it in here, and I'll take your questions. Our viewership is dwindling. I can't say I blame you guys. Not much of a solo artist here, so we're down to 9 people watching. So I'll hang in here for about another 5 or so, and then I'll call it a day. Wish you all luck. Give you a little bit extra time to set your lineups. I'll do the same, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, I think I'm going to hang it up here. Thank you very much. Good luck in week 6. I hope your teams win, and I hope your fantasy assets perform as such. So until next week, thank you so much on behalf of Bryce and myself and the entire RotoHeat team. Greatly appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can get notified every time one of us goes live. Have a great day and good luck.